Hi everybody, I'm Tracy Patton.
And I'm Kathy Ryan.
And this is Women 2018. Yes, the adventure continues as we travel across the country to interview the many women running for political office this year.
And the majority of these women are running for the first time, which is historic in the United States.
Yeah, it sure is. And today we are in Michigan in District 8. And guess what, you guys? We are on a farm, a family farm. Elissa Slotkin is running for Congress, and this is her family's farm. And Elissa, come join us.
Yes. Hi, Elissa.
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
This is so great.
Yeah.
So, Elissa, you are a third-generation Michigander.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And this is your family farm. Talk
It
about
is.
growing up on a farm.
Yeah, so this is our family farm. We've had it since 1956. And it's all because my family, it was all in the meat business. We had a meat company called High Grade Foods, and we're hot dog people.
And those are famous hot dogs, right?
Yeah,
Very
well,
good.
we helped start Nathan's Hot Dogs and did all the meat for Nathan's for the first 50 years,
really?
and then we invented the ballpark Frank at Tiger Stadium. So we're hot dog people.
Hot dog people.
Yes.
So being hot dog people, how did that impact your life? I mean, your parents, you know, with
well, the whole
farm
family
and all
was
that.
in the business,
Okay.
and my grandfather, who was the first generation American, he desperately thought the most American thing in the world was to have a farm. So he drove up in 1956, drove up here from Detroit and bought this farm. And when I was a little girl, this is where we lived, and we had about 400 Black Angus cows.
Oh, really?
We had 100 chickens. We had one crazy horse. And it affected my life deeply because, unlike I think a lot of kids and the way they grew up today, we were just out in the fields, playing all day long.
Yeah.
Parents didn't know where we were, a strong sense of independence, and for actually getting work done.
And
your great grandfather came through Ellis Island?
He did.
And
He
so
did.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So he came and he worked in also in the meat industry. That's how he learned the business.
Oh, really?
And then ultimately went to buy a little company or start a little company and then turn it into a bigger company.
Isn't that fabulous?
The whole family was in it. So
and Elissa, when you were in graduate school in New York City, that's when 9/11 happened.
Yeah,
So
my second day.
how did that impact the course of your life?
I mean, I would say it pretty much changed it. I was always interested in international affairs, but when the smoke cleared on 9/11 after that day, I really knew national service was what I was going to do for my life, for my career.
Right.
And within a year of that, I was recruited by the CIA to be a Middle East Analyst. And within a year of that, I was voluntold, as we say, to go to Iraq.
I love it.
Yeah. We were voluntold.
And you met your husband in Iraq, right?
I did. On my third tour, I met my husband, Dave. He's a career Army officer. He retired with 30 years as an Apache pilot. And we met for the first time in Iraq, right outside Saddam's palace. And we were on a team together and would go and got to know each other in the chow hall and playing ping pong outside Saddam's palace. So.
But how was
It's a great love story.
Not a classic story.
But tell me about being in Iraq. That was after the cessation of hostility, right there. I mean, the war was not still going on.
Oh no, it was definitely. My first tour was in 2004, so
so you were in the thick of it.
Certainly.
So what was that like? Oh my.
So I'm an analyst, so I was sent over there. Put on your body armor. You're trained in a Glock and an M4, and you travel around with the military and our diplomats, trying to understand the militias and terrorist groups that were shooting at us and plotting against the U.S. And so understanding those organizations was one of my jobs, and that's you work all the time, and it's a very intense experience to serve in a war zone, and certainly
putting it mildly.
And then Elissa, you came back to Michigan to take care of your mom who was really ill.
Yeah, so I grew up here, but my career took me to Iraq. It took me to national security world, but when I really started spending a lot more time here was when my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer
I'm so sorry.
in 2009, and we were spending large chunks of time helping with her care, and then ultimately when we brought her home and she was in hospice, I took a leave of absence and started spending a lot more time here. So and obviously this farm where we are now is always a place, like every time I finished a tour in Iraq, every time I had some sort of, life change, I would always come home here, reset, figure out kind of my next move. It's
Yeah.
always been kind of my home base for me.
Like a rock in your life.
Yeah,
right?
big time. I think
Yeah.
for a lot of people and who have family farms, it's like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so,
And
now,
so now
now.
you're running for Congress.
I am.
Describe the moment or moments that when you decided to run.
Well, I started thinking about it. I think just coming from a service family, you know, I have two stepdaughters. They're both in their versions of service. One's an Army officer, and one is a physician at the VA part-time. So I just think the tenor and tone of politics over the past year and a half now is just fundamentally unbecoming of the country that I served and the country that we all love. And so that certainly got me thinking about it for the first time in my life. But the moment that I really decided, okay, I'm in it, was about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, May of 2017, and that was the first time, if you remember, that the House of Representatives voted to repeal the ACA or healthcare, Obamacare.
Right, yes, absolutely, yeah.
And for me, certainly because of my mom, healthcare is extremely personal. When she was originally diagnosed, she did not have health insurance. She had let it lapse. And so we had that experience, like so many families, of, you know, your life just explodes. And that was the week that we were getting her tests and scheduling her surgery, and they wouldn't, you know, wheel her in for her tests without thousands of dollars in checks.
Wow.
So when I watched, particularly the man I'm now running against, Mike Bishop, when I watched him in that Rose Garden ceremony, smiling and just proud that he had voted to repeal healthcare, something just broke for me. And I just turned to my husband and I said, you don't get to do this. You know, you don't get to ignore your constituents, right? He had refused to meet in a town hall. He wouldn't meet with doctors and nurses. He wouldn't meet with the Alzheimer's Association to talk about what it would mean for someone's life to have this repealed. And I said to my husband, this is dereliction of duty. Like, we've seen this before. It's a fundamental missing of the whole point of being a public servant. And in dereliction of duty is a fireable offense.
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
so we decided to fire him.
Well, we're
Good
so
for
glad
you.
that you're running.
Thank you.
And one last quick question. What do you think the impact will be with all the women like you running for public office this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's amazing stories of women running for the first time. I think the story is also that competent people are running for the first time in really tough districts in a really long time. And the inspiring thing is that, you know, you can always have that one great candidate who becomes a congressperson who's trying to fight against the culture of our Congress. But what changes is when you have a big group of people who come in all at the same time. Then you really have the opportunity for one of these generational moments to really say to ourselves, okay, what's happening right now just is not working for anybody in Washington. And if you have a big group of people that come in at the same time, then you get to real cultural change, which is what I desperately think our Congress needs. So,
well, Elissa, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck
you.
with your campaign, not necessarily that you need it. And we're so excited. We'll be following you. And if you want to know more about Elissa Slotkin, go to elissaforcongress.com. And please keep following us, and please keep spreading the word across the world so we can support the candidates by going to women2018.org. And remember, don't vent, vote. Every vote counts. See you guys next time. Bye. Okay, well, we're going to just walk off.
We're just going to walk off. Goodbye.